Okay, so we're going to be doing a PS4 HDMI port replacement right now. This is a very, very common repair that we get in here, so we'll start from the basics anyways. So here is the system. And that camera's not straight again. Okay, so anyways, first thing we want to do is the actual warranty stickers. We need to remove those. This is actually second generation PS4, slightly different than the first generation. Board-wise and everything else, also with opening, there's only 2 screws on the back that actually hold the system together, versus the first gen having 3 screws on the lower panel and 1 on the upper panel. Where's my pokey tool? Get these warranty stickers off. So with any HDMI port, it's a full system teardown. So Torx 8 screws on the back side. There is 2 screws. And inside there are way too many screws. So there is 2 little catches on the sides here. Let's see if I can show you the one anyways. So just in here. To remove that panel, which gives us access to the power supply. There's 3 Torx 8 screws at the top here. I don't know why the hell the focus keeps on turning on this thing. Let's see if we can get rid of that. Autofocus is off. We'll try resetting it. Oh, I'm configuring the wrong one. Let's try that again. Sorry guys, 1 second. Autofocus should be off. Okay, so 3 Torx 8 screws on the actual power supply first off. Then got to take out the 2 longer screws. Never do any work by the actual. Let's do something here. Let's try that. Okay. That should get it a little bit cleaner anyways, because I tend to work at this part of the desk. So, 1 more screw here. And this system will get a full maintenance done on it, thermal paste changed out. The fan, which is kind of gross, will be completely blown out. So we're just going to pull the power supply out. Power supply needs to be out in order for the other part of the board, well, not out, but the proper screws to be removed in order to actually remove the other side of the motherboard. So that's the first thing to go. And we'll pull out these ribbon cables. So this is the other major change from the Gen 1 PS4 to the Gen 2, which look very, very similar. They got rid of the touch-sensitive buttons, so these ones are actual physical push buttons. But above and beyond that, the drive board used to be on the actual drive. Now it's actually located on the main board. The main boards are quite a bit smaller in this generation, which allows them to have more room for the drive board. Which means, technically, you can actually swap this drive for a complete other drive without actually doing anything else. We're moving that. Okay. So this part here, as normal, hard drive slides off, which sometimes is a pain if it's never been opened before. There we go. Gives us access to the other two screws in order to take the second part of the cover off. These are Torx 8. I'm going to pull that part off. There we go. So there we have the board and 10 million screws that need to come off. So this cover here, no idea what function it has other than holding the screw in place. It looks like some kind of ventilation, or blowing air almost, or keeping things cool. But above and beyond, this little bracket here actually holds the screw that goes through one of the power, or the longer screws that go through the power supply. So we'll take that off. Take all the Torx 8s first. HDMI ports, we probably do, I'd say, well, at least 4 to 5 of them a week anyways. We don't really advertise them too much either, so they do go quite often. This version is probably about, the first generation is probably the worst as far as the amount of them that we get in. After that is this version, so the version 2 of the regular system. We get the odd Pro in or whatever, but that's usually because somebody's broken it. So we're just removing the regular, the other screws here, the black ones and the silver ones. These silver ones over here, there's 3 of them. They're extremely short. They just go on this back panel. The only other weird spot that has a whole bunch of different screws, we've got 2 silver screws here that are coarse thread that feed into the plastic. We've got a Torx 18 screw that goes in here that feeds into the plastic, and then we've got a black screw here which actually feeds into metal. It's a fine threading screw. But this is the only part that uses 2 of these other screws. There, we can remove this piece. Got to remove the drive. Should be a standard 500 gigabyte, but of course you can't actually see what it is. It doesn't give you access to the actual label. So, but it is a 500 gigabyte. I think it was only the slims that they put in bigger than that, unless the customers actually replaced it with another one. Just gonna make one other change to this stream here. Okay. Apparently I have the stream playing in the background too. Okay. From here, I'm gonna make sure all the other screws are out. So there's another Torx 8 there that I forgot. the system's pretty dirty. Yeah, that should be all the screws. So this metal plate comes off. You can see the dirt just encrusted on it. Yeah, kind of gross. But oh well, we'll blow all that off afterwards after we make sure the system actually works. So we're going to remove the tension clip for the processor. Unlike PS3s, if you've never seen the inside of one of these before, there's one processor that does it all. It's an APU. Whereas with PS3 systems, there was two different chips, one being the GPU, one being the CPU. Okay, so now we've got everything disconnected, except we've got to remove the switch from the front, the fan connector, and then from there, the actual board, lift it from the front, come straight out, no connections on there, and we can remove this to the side. Okay, so here we have the actual board. There is a clip on the top here that just covers the actual HDMI port and the whatever the hell that is. Actually, I've actually seen the port before. Anyways, I'm gonna take a look at this. Okay, let me see if I can show you under the scope. And of course, no signal. It's one of those things I should check beforehand. So we can get the Aver Media fired up here. Okay, we're gonna take a pause here while I try and get this going, so I apologize.